Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever the fuck you're watching this episode. It's another episode, Backyard Blitz, brought to you by Backyard Sports Media. We got the whole panel, the whole gang, if you will. Let's start with Andy. Andy, live, laugh, love. I love the positivity following the weekend. I appreciate where your head's at. I like it.
Yeah, it's that I'm on my white chick stuff, I can't get my immune system working. I need an iron lung, so I got to get that. I just had a quick shout out at the top. Fantasy football. I joined this league this year. I finished. We finished with like 5 of us or 6 of us with the same record. So it goes down to points, head-to-head matchups. So I'm playing in the 4th place matchup against 5th place, I think, something like that. And it is the most scumbag score I've ever had against a person in my life, and I want to apologize to this dude. He's not watching the show, but maybe somebody else in the league is, or one of his brothers, Ricky Dieter. He doesn't live in New York. He had to call in when we did our draft because it's a live draft. I beat this dude. This is the closest score I've ever seen. 186.6 to 186.28. And also as you'd expect, nobody else could have beat either of us.
Yep.
So whoever lost was fucked. Listen, I went into like the later games feeling good because I had Lamar Jackson killed, Devontae Adams finally killed for me. Then this piece of shit had fucking Josh Allen and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it was like I couldn't even look at it. I had to just like go to bed and be like, I'll see it in the morning and see what happened, and fucking pulled it out, man.
Oh, what a diabolical
great to
win.
be back.
I mean, that's
great to be back,
dude.
We'll talk about
diabolical win.
Loved it.
Diabolical win. Oh man, Gary, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I snuck into the playoffs in the one league I've been chronicling this year that I was the top scorer by a mile, and had the most points against me by a mile. And then I get a first round matchup where my opponent scores like 96 points and I scored like 109, which was my low total of like the year. And I won. So a little matchup luck in the first round of the playoffs in that league.
Holy shit.
So yeah, we're feeling all right.
Sometimes you need it, man. It's
yeah,
better to be lucky than
matchup
good.
luck, man. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Ain't no pictures on the scoreboard. All the sayings.
Not in the playoffs, man. Not in the playoffs.
Praise God.
5 in advance.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Well, let's just jump right into the week here. Get the first week set up here. Thank you. All right. Listen, I mean, we might as well rip this Band-Aid off because this was a loser to start. We all picked San Fran to get the dub here. I think we expected this to be a little bit more of a barn burner, at least for LA, and that just wasn't the case. Gary, you want to go ahead and take this one?
Very, very weird game. We got weather in Southern California that we wouldn't normally expect in Southern California. Most surprising part of it to me was the ineptitude of the San Francisco offense. All week, Debo had been talking about, I need more touches. And as usually happens, a guy who complains has a fuck up or 4 in the game, which is what Debo had. A couple bad drops, a couple missed blocks. He tackled his own teammate once. Not great. Probably the biggest surprise for me was that the running game for the San Francisco 49ers never got off the ground. Isaac Guerrero, I thought, would have a good game because he's more of like a straight line runner. He's kind of a one-cut, straight line, downhill kind of guy. They just never got it going. Credit to the Rams. They played a great game. They had a great game plan. Defensively, they are going to be a menace for a long time because in consecutive drafts, they've drafted maybe the 2 best defensive linemen in those 2 drafts. So they're going to be really, really strong. Yeah, 44 one week against the Bills and then 12 against the beat-up Niners defense. But the Rams, that front 4 is going to be good for a very, very long time. Jared Verse and Brandon Fiske are legit, and that's a year removed from when they drafted the rookie leader in sacks the year before and the second best rated pressure guy interior pressure guys. So they're killing it. Les Snead and Sean McVay is doing a great job of building that defense. When you lose Aaron Donald, it's a big deal, right? But they're doing a really good job of reloading. Credit to them. They've got a chance in this NFC West that's really, really ugly right now. But Seahawks go down to the Packers. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Now the Rams are right in the thick of it in the NFC West.
Well, a bit to like the inconsistency in the two games just mentioned there by leader there, the Bills game. We're going to see that, I think. When the Bills play a good team, a capable offense, they're going to give up a lot of points.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's hard for some people to envision because I've had these conversations this week. I had this conversation last week after the Rams game too with a lot of people because, I'm here in Western New York. We haven't seen it a ton yet this year because the Bills have played a pretty JV schedule. I think they're like third. They have like the third weakest schedule played so far. Yeah. And it's not getting any better because they're going to end the season with New England twice and the Jets once. But, yeah, I mean, two 40-point outings 2 weeks in a row, and the Rams that, 49ers are still capable.
Yeah.
Like, I think the 49ers are going to fuck around and spoil the party for some people at the end of the season because I think they can still beat you. Like, if I'm looking at a 5 or 6 win team rolling into the playoffs, if I'm a playoff contender, I don't really want to see San Fran. Like, I would much rather, see.
Nope.
Like I would rather see the Cardinals or something, something like that. I don't want to fucking see San Fran because the stigma's still there. As much as they stink, I still know they have this guy, they have this guy.
Yep.
That defense can put it on you, and it's a divisional game, right? I mean, we always talk about the importance of the divisional games. They know you better than everybody else, so
yep.
Yeah, weird. It is weird though. I do agree with Robert in the sense that like if you're just looking at it on paper to go and score, for the highest scoring game of the season that week. Than to put up a fucking doll game. I'm glad I didn't stay up to watch.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
Definitely true. So I'm trying to work on getting that slide.
Raul had some fucking insider trading shit this week.
Yeah, 15-1.
Listen, 15-1 took a couple gambles that paid off. One of the ones that I felt like was just. I mean, the San Francisco one kicked me in the shorts. It really did. I mean, one off from what I felt like is surefire. Like that was good. San Francisco's good to win this, and of course, you can never just count out the fucking Rams or just either of these terrible defensive performances or offensive performances we saw. It was just.
Well, I told you guys I thought this was the hardest week.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It showed in my picks, at least.
Yeah, you went 9-7. Yeah,
Gary, you've had your best week in a while, I feel like.
I know, right?
Congrats. Fuck me, I
guess. Oh, poor guy. Hate to see it. But Gary's loving this kind of. Washington gets a dub here on what should have been kind of a breeze, to be honest. Like, this should have been a lot easier than it was. I don't know. Yeah,
I think this team believed that. I think that was part of what happened in this game is we got out early, 2-score lead early, and it felt like this team just decided like we can't lose this game. We're just going to kind of coast to the finish. And it got weird. It got weird late because Jaden, in atypical fashion, missed Terry on 3 go balls that he had room to make the completion. He overthrows him by about a yard twice and underthrows him by about 1.5 yards to 2 yards the third time. And, we had opportunities that had he hit even just one of them, the game was going to be out of reach. Instead, the game stays within reach because we had to settle for punts on 2 of those or a punt on 1 of those and a field goal on the other 2 because 2 of those happened in the same drive. And, so we just kind of left points out there on the field, and offensively, we just went stale after the really good early start. This isn't a team that can do that, right? Like we've talked about, this team's a year ahead of schedule, maybe 2 years ahead of schedule. You can't play games like this. You're not that much better than everybody else. You're not that much better than any team in the league that you can just do that, right? Like you can't just take 2/3 of a game off and win. I do want to mention one thing at the end of that game. I thought for sure we were going to lose because the next to last, the penultimate play, I forget who made the catch, but he got tackled in bounds, and the ref, who I'll explain in a moment, kind of got let off the hook by his teammate, comes in and signals stop the clock. And 4 seconds was the pause. Like, it was a full 4 beats, and they spiked the ball with 3 seconds to go. So the clock should have expired on them. It doesn't. And then after the game, the head ref, I think it was Sean Hockley, says like the monitoring official was the one at fault. I'm watching the replay, and your guy from the side judge comes in signaling stop the clock. That's not the monitoring official's issue. That's an issue for your team. Sean Hockley's crew is terrible to begin with, but that's a bad mistake. I thought it was going to cost us the game. I thought for sure, like, when something like that happens, ultimately, like, the worst case typically plays out. Fortunately, we were able to stop the 2-point conversion, but man, that was a debacle from the beginning of about the second quarter, when Washington was up 2 scores and kind of took their foot off the gas, to the end when, you know, you kind of get this timing fucking mix up and you almost drop a game. You can't drop this game because of the way the NFC standings are right now either. Like, you can't drop that game. So what a mess. We got a lot to clean up if we're going to have any chance against Philly this week, and if we're going to have any chance of clinching a wild card spot going forward.
But like the story here is they're fine. Washington's fine. I mean, it. You know, I don't know what did they start, Gary? 8-1, 7-1, 7-1. I mean, like, that's that's a little. It was a little unrealistic, I feel like. Obviously it happened, but when the team starts 7-1, the head's on ESPN. Oh, this team, Jaden Daniels, the best thing
MVP,
ever. Your average fans, you know, and even some. Obviously, you get some Washington fans who might be, you know, smart, might even play some of the devil's advocate, but they start to, like, you buy in. You know, you got to be cautiously optimistic. Gary, you're well beyond that, so we don't worry about you. But they you know, it's good stuff. Like, even if they were to, like, win 10 games, finish the season with 10 wins, like, to me, that's still way ahead of schedule. And you said, you know, it's easy to use the phrase a year away, and you said maybe 2 years away, and they may be 2 years away. I mean, the rookie quarterback. So, I mean, good things in Washington no matter what.
Yep.
Definitely. I feel like you hit the nail on the head in the very beginning, Gary. I think they went into it expecting to win, and that's kind of the way they treated this, and then that's quickly became not the case. So
I hope Dan chewed him out after that game, because it was pretty clear that there was some kind of lackadaisical shit going on, and I hope he noticed it and nipped it in the bud before. Because when you're a bad team, you got to learn how to win, right? And we've been very, very fortunate this year that we've had a supernova quarterback who's been able to make plays in crunch time. But when those things aren't clicking, we've got to be a collective unit, and we've got to learn how to handle success, how to handle winning, and not get ahead of ourselves with a game against the fucking New Orleans Saints team that is clearly not it right now. And I do want to shout out Marshawn Lattimore, though. Last quick thing. He played 59 snaps, I think it was. 0 targets, 29 runs, not routes run against or something like that. 0 targets. He was fucking everything we traded for. If that's the Marshawn Lattimore we're going to get, we fleeced the New Orleans Saints. I told you we fleeced Philly with the Jahan Dotson trade as well. Adam Peters is batting 1,000 in my book this year. First-time GM, coming from that San Francisco tree, but he's killing it. And if this is how he's going to run this program going forward, I as Andy said, we're fine. But that Marshawn Lattimore trade, and just to reiterate the Dotson thing, he has like 3 catches on the season after all the Philly fans were like, oh my God, we got a first-round pick for a third-round pick. Like, yeah, there's a reason he was on the trading block. He was going to be cut. And
the man was buns, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
The man was buns. And listen, Marshawn Lattimore is quickly going to end up being the fucking Lattimore Island there for exactly what you needed. I mean, it looks good. So
yeah,
he's feisty. It gives you a better chance against Tampa because shit's going to be lit. Guaranteed. Dude.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, that'll be interesting if we end up with that matchup in the playoffs.
Nothing makes me happier than watching those two fight each other. It is great.
Yeah.
It's great all the time. Yeah. All right, let me pull the slide back up now that we got this bad boy going. I think I got us back in there. Yeah. All right, we're back. Okay. So I'll have to figure out this formatting. I hate the white background. But anyway, so we'll move on. We're doing it live. Kansas City getting a dub on the road. Terrible news about Pat Mahomes out for the season, 21-7, and KC advances.
When did that news break?
Is he? Am I missing that? I thought I read some. Oh man, I hope I didn't. I didn't get.
I don't think that happened.
Oh, good. Yeah, good. Anyways,
You might miss this next game against Houston.
Right. Okay. I thought I saw something that said he was going to be out for the season, so I'm just going to shut the fuck up now.
No, I didn't see that. He had the same thing last year, though.
Yeah, he's probably got the same fucking massage therapist working on his ankle as he did last year.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. My bad. Fake news. My bad.
That is the big news from this game, though. Like, ho-hum, the Chiefs beat the Browns by 2 touchdowns. Mahomes' injury, if it lingers, that offensive line is way worse than they were last year. So if he's immobile, it's going to become a bigger challenge for them if he's a stationary target, because his ability to move the pocket, his ability to create off-platform and off-schedule is a big part of that offense when they are clicking. If he's compromised in any way with that leg, that ankle, that could be a real problem for them in the postseason because of how bad the offensive line is this year.
Yeah, no doubt. And just confirmed for myself here week to week for Irish Patty Mahomes. My bad on the fake news.
Yeah.
Andy, go ahead.
Well, I mean, and that, that's the only news that's really newsworthy. I mean, obviously the Browns decided to bench famous Jameis, which I mean, listen, in that, I don't think that has many implications on anything too important as far as NFL goes, but these people trying to win some fantasy leagues down the stretch, I think it hurts Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, DTR is not. He's not going to
Jeudy play his best football with Jameis Winston, right? Yeah. So, I mean, he's been putting up. Like, I have him in a league where I never use him because why the fuck? I don't even know why I ended up with him.
Yeah,
but like
DTR doesn't push the ball down the field, so
no. Sometimes you just get these quarterbacks that really help the wide receivers' cause, and in this case, it was Jameis fucking.
That's a W.
It's a dub.
We'll see. I mean, maybe listen, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jeudy is really, decided he's a fucking first-round caliber NFL wide receiver. Shout out to Steve Smith because he don't believe it, but
no.
I mean, that could be detrimental to some of these guys. I mean, I feel like he's been getting like 20, 30 points a fucking week the last few weeks.
Again, a lot of targets. Jameis is
hold on. Did you say
outside,
Stephen Smith or Stephen A?
Steve Smith.
Panthers Steve Smith.
Okay. Okay. All right. Because I was gonna say his radar is usually not terribly far off. Where I thought, just making sure we're not talking about Stephen A. Here, we're good. Yeah. I stand by that. Then yes.
Yeah.
Man's radar is usually not far off, and it's a couple. Anyways, all right. Cincinnati 37-27. Cincinnati needed a good dub. Man, I keep looking at these stats, just racking up for Joe Burrow. And in this case, we got to win. But with all those losses comes, we talked about it a little bit last week, just how much effort is going into Joey Burrow and that offense just to often come unrewarded, but, quietly just steamrolling the season as far as yardage and completion. So he's doing well.
I'm going to stay where I was. And again, this would kill my team, the Lions, but Penei Sewell. That was the Bengals pick. It should have been their fucking pick. Jamar Chase is great. He's a sports car. Love him. But there are so many wide receivers in the NFL. And a guy like Joe Burrow, I think, elevates wide receivers if he has a chance to do so. Penei Sewell, he's the guy. I mean, like we're talking a guy that many people might even consider to be, the best tackle in the league at this point. So it was such the right pick for them, especially coming off of that ACL injury. And, I think they could have supplemented. I mean, they could have ended up with Amon-Ra St. Brown later in that draft. So I'm glad they didn't because it gave Detroit those two players, and I'd rather have them than Jamar Chase. But, man, But talking about the win, Raul, a good win. Tiger King didn't think so.
Yeah, he didn't. He's
oh man,
no. Listen, Andy,
never gonna be happy.
You're right, dude. And I was the Joe Alt guy this offseason, right? I understand the value of offensive line, and I know that like in the NFL.
And how's Joe Alt doing in LA?
He's a fucking stud.
Pretty good.
Fucking stud. Justin Herbert's been sacked less than he's ever been sacked, and they're doing well. But you know, it's one of those things, right? And Jamar Chase might win the Triple Crown for wide receivers.
Absolutely.
And they might still only win 8 games this year, right? So like it's one of those things. Like, do you want the best tackle in football, or do you want the best receiver in football? Right. And he might not even be the best receiver. I'm just saying that out of speculation, right? JJ still plays. I get it, right? But like
we got you. We know what you meant.
Yeah, and that's the trade-off.
Top 3.
Dude, it's unbelievable the numbers we're going to see at the end of the season from Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and the Cincinnati offense, and think that team won 8 games. Like, the Chiefs have not scored over 30 points in any game at any point this season, and they're 12-1. And the Bengals have scored under 30 points, I believe, 3 times this season, maybe only twice, and they're fucking 6-8 right now. Like, that's a fucking tough look. They're not even eliminated from playoff contention, though, because the AFC is fucking terrible. But it's a long shot. They need a bunch of help. But like they might be left on the outside watching the tournament, because it's been weird circumstances. Like the defense most weeks, kind of bad turnovers. Like Chase Brown had a bad fumble that changed the game against the Ravens, or they probably win that. Like there's just been weird circumstance for this team, and they're going to go down as maybe the best offense to ever play that doesn't make the playoffs. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
You know, and if I'm Cincy, again, back to the tackle thing, I would rather have the 10th best tackle in the league when I just drafted Joe Burrow. And especially when he's come off of an ACL injury like he had.
Yep.
I'd rather have the 10th best tackle in the league in T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd than Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
And that's not an indictment against Chase, because he's great.
Right.
But you have
to.
Yeah,
but this is something, I mean, check the tape from last year in the offseason this year, calendar-wise, in the offseason, we were talking about this. Like, Joey B needs help. He needs help. He needs protection. But at the same time, when your points allowed is as high as it is, come on.
I mean, T. Higgins is probably like you could have made an argument that T. Higgins is like 1,000 yards, 8 TDs, easy.
Yeah.
And Tyler Boyd, 700 yards, 6 TDs. Like I could see that with Joe Burrow with some protection. Like Jamar Chase is a luxury that I feel like they can't afford. Or couldn't afford at that time. You got to
and agreed. Like I've commended them. We've commended them on the show for at least trying to like invest in the offensive line since then. But they've whiffed on all of them when they had, as Andy put it, the right pick right in front of them. Yeah. They had it on the board, and it would have solved a lot of their issues. Just having a good left tackle with a right-handed quarterback is it's maybe the most valuable thing in the sport, right? When you've got the right quarterback, the next most valuable thing is protecting that dude. And as Andy said, like I think he could have made other wide receivers good. Maybe they don't have a guy like Jamar Chase who can hit a home run from anywhere on the field, but they've got an offense that can put up 30 points a game because they've got a quarterback who's going to be upright.
Right. Your quarterback is making his wide receivers better. He's throwing guys open. He's doing that stuff. And like Sewell, again, and maybe because I'm a Lions fan, that guy can play any fucking position on the line.
Right.
You throw him out there at tight end.
He might be the best athlete in the league.
I mean, it's just he can play guard. He's playing right tackle in Detroit because they have Decker. But he's so universally so athletic. It's just
he's the new Trent Williams, man. He's
the
best offensive lineman, and he's probably the best athlete on the field.
Andy's Detroit's team leader. Like if you watch any pre-games, he's the guy hyping up the team. He's the guy, like he's a young fucking fella doing this. Like these players are invaluable.
Yep, absolutely.
No doubt. Oh. So Houston, Miami, Houston gets to win at home. I think we had a guy carted off of the field in this one.
Yeah.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, Tua, who usually puts himself in the hospital, decided he was going to throw a hospital ball in this game. I'm going to say something that maybe it doesn't need to be said, but like the flag that got thrown on that play should have been thrown on Tua. The defender doesn't really seek out the contact with that player's head, and his name is eluding me right now because he's kind of a end of roster guy, but the defender is not seeking out. That's not like a malicious play. So like, I understand the contact looked a certain way, and you hate to see what happened after, where they're, performing CPR and shit like that, like bringing out the stretcher and bringing the ambulance and all that. And I'm glad like he's fine, but like Tua is what Derek Carr always was in Oakland and Vegas. Like, he will throw hospital balls, and unfortunately in this circumstance, it literally landed a guy in the hospital.
Yeah, what was I thinking picking the fucking Dolphins here?
I don't know.
Is that a typo? I can't I'm sitting here I did actually just look at my phone because I had to look to make sure that was correct. I can't even, listen, I might have picked Miami if it was in Miami and been able to be like, oh, that's why I did it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird. I thought I was like clever. It's trying to will Tyreek to do something in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. Figured it out.
Fair enough. Well, for now, fuck both of these teams. Baltimore wins a predictable game, 35-14 against New York. Baltimore just cruising right along in a not so stacked AFC.
Yeah. I mean, the AFC North is a little tough with Pittsburgh also near the top there. But listen, they were playing a team that reports surfaced that they ran 17 red zone drill plays in practice and went 0 for 17, 0 for 4 against no defensive coverage, and 0 for 13 in one-on-ones. If that doesn't tell you the status of the New York Giants right now, I don't know what else could. It's a team that, I mean, they're in full tank mode. They're tanking for Cam Ward, it sounds like. So this is bad football, and it's going to continue to be bad football down the stretch.
Can we
just there in New York?
I don't even want to talk about the game much, but I do want to shout out Lamar Jackson because there's not many players in the NFL who get scrutinized as much as Lamar Jackson. He wins the MVP last year. A lot of people didn't like it. I always try to talk people off the ledge with saying there's always a few, right? There's not just one guy who could win the MVP. I think that's true for most sports. It's usually 2 or 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. So, I wasn't upset that he won MVP. He may not have been my pick. He may not have been a lot of people's picks. But this year, I mean, he's not going to win it this year. But, man, just 3,500 yards, 34 touchdowns, 3 fucking interceptions. 3 with a 120. With a 120 rate. We have some historic shit going on here with Lamar Jackson. And that's a guy who can't throw the football. He's a running back.
Yeah.
So, again, I understand that a lot of what he does isn't textbook. It's not, it's a little against the grain, but
doesn't matter. Quietly, there are haters punching air right now here.
So I have a question, Andy. I'm glad you brought that up, right? So let's say they got it right last year and it wasn't Lamar Jackson, right? Because we had that discussion on this show that I don't think any of us really thought Lamar was the MVP last year, but he was the quarterback on the team with the best record. And that has been the MVP for a very, very long time.
Yeah, that's what the MVP is.
Right. No. That's been the MVP for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
If they got it right last year and gave it to whoever you think, I thought Josh Allen was the MVP last year. I don't care who you thought was, but if they got it right last year and they didn't get voter fatigue for Lamar Jackson, do you think that he'd be the prohibitive favorite right now? Because he's having an historic season.
No, I don't. People don't like him.
Okay.
People don't like the idea of him.
Okay.
That's what it is. I think people don't like the idea of Lamar Jackson. Listen, the other guy the elephant in the room. When he does many of the things that we don't like Lamar Jackson for doing, and he does it more, he's great.
Yeah.
The best I've ever seen. I've never heard him call the running back.
Yeah.
I'll leave everybody to figure out why. There's the double
I think
standard.
there's the obvious that you're alluding to, but I think there's also that when Josh doesn't run with the ball.
Who's Josh?
What's that?
Who's Josh?
Yeah, well, the elephant in the room. When he doesn't run with the ball, I think he does it in what people feel like is a more traditional manner. He wins from the pocket a lot more often than Lamar Jackson does.
When is Josh Allen in the pocket?
A lot.
I've never seen that guy in the pocket. He's most successful outright. Historically.
He wins from the pocket a lot. Lamar Jackson breaks clean pockets, which I think is part of the indictment on him. I just think it looks different in people, and what you alluded to in terms of looking different is a big factor. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's a big factor. But I also think, like, you look at kind of Josh has the prototypical build. He's big, he's strong, he's tall, whatever.
He doesn't move like Lamar is part of it.
Right?
Lamar moves like a running back.
It's different.
Josh Allen is Ben Roethlisberger with more speed and athleticism.
He's Ben Roethlisberger with like Cam Newton's wheels.
I agree.
Yeah.
But Josh,
Lamar is like Lamar's Michael Vick with a much better feel for the passing game early in Vick's career.
Like, if I'm playing Josh Allen, I would love for him to play in the pocket. That's where I want him. I don't want him outright. When he's outright, especially, there's nothing you can do with him anymore.
He hurts you at all three levels.
He's good from 60 outright.
I mean, he's good. He's good from anywhere. And it just looks different. But
it does.
I mean, he also juked the dude out while holding his pants up. Like, he's just a different species. Like, they're both mutants. They're mutants in a different way. Like, Josh Allen is Superman. Lamar Jackson is kind of like the Flash. Like, it's just that's the clash of styles. It is what it is. And I think deeply that if Josh Allen won the MVP last year, Lamar would be the favorite this year. If Josh Allen had won it last year and voters didn't feel like they had voter fatigue and they didn't have to worry about what Lamar Jackson does in the playoffs, we'd have a different narrative this year because Lamar Jackson is putting up unbelievable numbers.
He is. I don't think we talked about our MVPs after the season last year. Maybe I'm mistaken. And maybe I missed the show.
Maybe not.
We are in prime basketball.
I think we discussed it in the chat, maybe not on the show.
I know we discussed it on the show before the season was over when we were winding down. I know you said Josh Allen. I know I said Dak Prescott at one point.
Yeah.
I think 5 games left.
Yeah.
But, he filled all of the – listen, if it's most valuable player, which it's not, that's what everybody has to come to terms with.
It hasn't been for a long time.
MVP is not most valuable, and that's not just in football. It is the best player, typically the quarterback, on the best team or one of the best teams.
Yep.
If it were MVP, it's Josh Allen every time at this point because I think like the Ravens, I could put, a middle of the pack quarterback on, and they're probably in a
10, 11 wins.
They lose a couple more games than they have right now, 2 or 3. If I put that same quarterback in Buffalo, they probably win 4 or 5 games.
Yep.
That is the difference, which is why Allen to me is the most valuable. But like, if you voted for Lamar Jackson to be MVP right now, I wouldn't be upset. I would understand. Like that's the big difference is people draw this hard fucking line in the sand and they're like, there's no way. Like there's levels. There's different guys who can be it. But yeah, again, I just want to shout out Lamar Jackson quietly having the kind of season that people have been telling him his whole time in the NFL he can't have.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like Joe Burrow with even more adversity and doubt. So, New York Jets, they're fucking back, baby.
They're fucking back.
32-25. Listen, combined offense over 50 here. Good for the Jets. Real fucking boat race there. I fucking hate both of these teams. So, like, it is what it is.
You know, that league that I talked about at the beginning of the show that I just eked out this week. I had the first pick in that league, live draft, 12 people, and I took Tyreek Hill. Fucking because I had it in 3 other leagues, so I was just trying to stack. It was him or CeeDee Lamb for me. I drafted Devontae Adams when it came back. They both were shit. I still managed to make the playoffs. Thank you, Devontae Adams. Finally fucking here, and I needed it because, again, I played Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Allen this week. I played against them, so fucking huge. Devontae Adams, animal, dude. Dog.
Yeah. Weird game. Got strange late. Overtime. Just a goofy game. 2 shit teams. The Jets aren't quite eliminated from the playoffs yet. I don't think, if I'm remembering that correctly. Like, they have a fucking weird outside. Or no, they are eliminated. Never mind. It's the Dolphins that weren't eliminated going into the week. But it just
I was gonna say the Jets having a chance with like 4 wins would be crazy.
No, it was the Dolphins that I was looking at before the week. But just weird. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a starting quarterback somewhere next year, unfortunately, for whatever team picks him up, because he's fully fucking washed. And for him to continue blaming the media when he goes on media shows all the time, and whatever. Just the Jets are.
Just say it. He's a jerk off.
He's a twat, like a full-on twat. And the Jets are a mess. They'll be drafting a quarterback and trying to figure it out. Probably a full rebuild, which they needed, like a fucking like the desert needs rain. Like, what a mess. He ruined that fucking organization. I feel bad. I feel bad for Jets fans because
not anymore, bro. The desert gets stormed, like snow and shit now. I saw that shit in the Sahara.
Yeah.
Fucking go Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. On to the next. Andy trying to get cheeky costed him again.
I wasn't even trying to get cheeky here.
I was tossed up on this game.
I believe it.
I was tossed up as well.
I thought Carolina had been playing okay football. I thought Bryce was kind of getting his, I have him in. Gary's got a league where we can start 2 QBs.
Yeah.
And I had Dak. So I have Aaron Rodgers, and then I had Cooper Rush, and I have Bryce. And I've been playing Rush with Rodgers, and I almost switched him. I'm glad I didn't, even though I didn't win anyways. But that one I believed in. I'm still confused with the Miami one. I don't know why I picked that one, but this one I know why I picked it. Dallas wasn't quite the dumpster fire I needed.
Yeah, they looked fine in this game. I feel bad for Raul because they might have saved McCarthy's job for whatever fucking silly reason. Jerry's probably going to bring him back. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
Well, Jerry was going to do what was detrimental to the team no matter what.
Yeah.
Let's be
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's really just I'm at a point where I'm just trying to figure out how many bounces of the tennis ball that I want to have on the trick shot, where I have a tennis ball that bounces off of 2 or 3 bounces at least before it knocks the toaster into the bathtub, so I can just fucking end it all. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
It's not that serious.
It's just, it's just, or maybe it needs to happen to Jerry Jones's fucking geriatric ass bathtub. Like, maybe that's what needs to happen, because as I've said before, I'll say again, we're just going to continue to deal with a situation that's going to be just self-deprecating or self-destructive from an organizational perspective. Like, I've never wanted I've never wanted a nepotism move more than for Stephen Jones to hurry the fuck up and step into this organization. Like, it's just a nightmare.
I think he's afraid of Dad.
I think everyone's afraid of Dad. They have to. Dad's a fucking billionaire. It is.
Yeah, I used to watch on HBO. I used to watch a show Oz about prison. I don't know. Probably people are familiar with it, right? It was like HBO's original series before The Sopranos. And one time they fed this dude crushed up glass in his food for a long period of time, and it killed him. Just saying.
Sick. Justin Royal, you locked the fuck in. Rent's due, bud. Rent's due. Friend of the show, the homie, local. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Been doing some miles in with the homie recently. I'm sorry, Robert. I mean, listen, I know that you're a Buffalo fan. Things are going great for you. I appreciate it about you, but man, we're struggling down. What's the macros on crushed up glass? I don't know. Mostly carbs.
Listen, do I look like I know about fucking macros and shit? I don't fucking know about that stuff.
Well, yeah, trouble. And I mean, look, it's going to be future trouble in Dallas. It's not looking any better. It is what it is. And so with that, we're on to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay doing their thing, slinging guns. I expected this to be a little bit more of a shootout. Obviously, didn't exactly end the way we wanted to. 40-17, Tampa Bay takes the win in L.A.
Yeah. Oh,
God damn it.
Christ.
Oh, my bad, dude. I can't put you on the big screen like that. My bad.
Yeah, look, the Chargers really struggled in this game against the Tampa Bay defense that's been giving up a lot of points. I was really surprised by that. I think Herbert was a little more hurt than they let on. But, dude, is there a better story in football than, like, the opposite trajectories of Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns? Like, it's so great. I don't care how you feel about Baker
it needed
Mayfield.
to happen.
I know a lot of people kind of find him as like caustic and he rubs people the wrong way, but
sure,
he was run out of Cleveland after being the only quarterback to win a playoff game for them in the last 4,000 fucking years. And then they got him beat up for a season and ran him out for Deshaun Watson. I love that he's finding success in Tampa Bay and they are struggling so bad in Cleveland. So that's my big takeaway. And Mike Evans is back on pace for another 1,000-yard season. So he's going to extend his streak to start his career. I believe he's currently tied for the record. So this one might get it for him, or this one ties him for the record. Whatever it is, he's close to the record for consecutive 1,000 yards to start a season. So I was glad to see him have a big day to get back on pace for that.
No doubt. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can't be happier for you, leader. It's good to see Buffalo atop. It's good stuff. Maybe another 20 years. I don't know. I have a feeling that Jerry Jones is going to live to see fucking 115. So maybe another 20 years.
Jake, what's up?
It's popping.
Yeah, I believe 11 this season would tie him with Rice.
Tie him. Okay, so this one would tie him.
I believe. I'm just looking at the blurb at the top here real quick because I
think that's right. I couldn't remember if he was already tied and was going to pass it or if he was about to tie it.
So Rice has 14, but I think only 11 of them were consecutive.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I type consecutive and Google says, I'll give you whatever the fuck you want or whatever I want. So, yeah, Rice set the streak with 11 straight in 96. And Evans has 10 as of last year.
Yeah.
So, as of December.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And he's missed time. Like, he's missed time in other seasons, but last season and this season he's missed time. So he's just death taxes and fucking Mike Evans at this point.
So he has the record to start a career.
So Evans has it to start a career.
Because
he's in his 11th season.
You're absolutely right that he would tie Rice for streak altogether.
I didn't hear the start a career part.
Yeah.
So he's alone. I mean, he's also second right now in 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah.
With 10. So
he's quietly been just unbelievable because they were so bad early in his career with terrible quarterback play, and he still just put up 1,000 yards every fucking year.
So there's only two besides Evans that have double digits, and it's Rice with 14, and it's Randy Moss with 10.
Yeah.
And now it's Mike Evans with 10, but it will be 11. So
yeah.
That's pretty fucking solid company, bud.
That's unbelievable, ain't it? Mike Evans.
For a guy that no one's ever called the best wide receiver in the league at any point in 11 years.
Nope.
Probably not even top 2.
Nope. Just
top
quietly
three?
standing on business.
We ever called him top 3?
No.
Top 4? I'm sure he's had to have been top 5.
Maybe top 5.
He's definitely been top 5.
I'd go at some point in his career he's been talked about in the top
a couple
5.
years ago, I thought he and Keenan Allen were like the two dudes that we don't talk about enough in general. Like,
Yeah,
top
I mean, I
five
feel like in
receivers.
Keenan Allen's heyday, that's probably when we would have considered Mike Evans to be a top
Keenan Allen
3,
might be the best
maybe
route
even
runner to
receiver.
ever play football.
Well, and Keenan Allen's heyday is the same as Mike Evans. He just decided to go fucking get himself shoved into this mess that he's in now.
Well, yeah, in Chicago. Ugh.
Fuck, dude.
It's a
Yeah, that's
fucking
tough.
disaster.
Hate to see that.
Yeah.
Speaking of toasters and bathtubs. So, on what, dude? I make no apologies. 13-31, Denver gets it done at home against Indy. You know, we talk about it every week, so I ask the panel of the gentlemen again: is Bo Nix the real deal?
Sure looks like it. Looks like he's the
We're
real.
seeing some consistency.
I mean, how many people had Denver as a potential playoff team?
Look, Sean Payton loves him, and Sean Payton
Just
is
you.
one of Sean Payton loves him, and Sean Payton is one of the best quarterback minds to ever coach a football team. So I have to believe in Bo Nix because Sean Payton does. This game was very, very strange. This game turned on Jonathan Taylor doing something that, like, I still don't it's December 18th, 2024, and we still have dudes dropping the ball before they cross the goal line.
Yeah.
And this game swung on that play. Like, the Colts were in the lead. The Colts were really going in to kind of put this game, to put some separation between them and the Broncos. And Jonathan Taylor drops the ball at the half-yard line. It rolls through the end zone to get a touchback. And the game swung from there. Bo Nix had thrown 3 picks at that point. He didn't look good in this game until that happened. And then he got hot. And the Broncos offense got hot. They ended up scoring 31 points and win the game. All credit to them for overcoming a slow early start. But the Colts, like, how the fuck? And it happened twice this weekend. It wasn't just the Colts. Like,
Yeah, who
how
else
are
did
we
that?
still doing this in 2024?
I saw that it happened twice. That was weird.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I believe it was the Bengals defensive back. Returned a pick and dropped it fucking short of the goal line. Like, what are we doing?
And to be honest, I don't think I picked Denver to be a playoff team this year. I know somebody had said only you, but I don't think I believe.
I think Raul is still going
I think
back
I'm
when
mistaking it for
he
last
picked him to win
year.
the Super
couple
Bowl.
years. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, I was like,
To win the
2 years ago. Yeah.
well, you know, listen, and they reminded me a little bit of that this season. They had that really sloppy game against the Jets that I
Jets.
subject myself to, and I was like, man, this defense, with any sign of life from an offense, that team could be really good because that defense can hold a team to 10, 15 points. And, you know, if you get an offense that can score 3 touchdowns, like they can win games. And here they are 9-5. It's wild.
Yeah.
And the defense is doing a lot of damage.
They've got the best defensive back in football. For sure. Pat Surtain is the truth.
They're just fast, man. They're all over the place. The Texans have a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
Where guys just flying around.
Yep.
But I feel like Denver just does it so well.
Yep. That's a good ass defense.
Facts. All right. And we are on to Arizona, who gets the win at home against New England, 17-30. This is another one of those where I felt like this was, I mean, it could have gone either way, but realistically speaking, Arizona should have won this. Home game, they're obviously the stronger team, better position. So no real surprise for me there.
Yeah, I'm not giving New England any benefit of the doubt at this point.
No.
Yeah, no, the only real risk we ran was really Arizona losing that game more than New England winning. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the inconsistency we've seen from them all season.
Yeah.
I mean, we said it before, like Arizona's like maybe the best bad team in the league.
Yep.
7-7,
Exactly.
they were sitting on top of the division a couple weeks ago, and now they've dropped the 3rd, but
Yep.
they can get you.
They can.
Yeah, I only really have like one PSA for New England. Don't fuck this up. You got a quarterback. Don't fuck this up.
He's got to build around him. That's it.
Jalen Polk is not the answer at wide receiver. You need to be calling fucking T. Higgins' agent now at risk of tampering. You need to bring T. Higgins in, and you need to draft a wide receiver, and you need to improve that offensive line. Don't fuck this up because Drake May can play in this league, and he can win you a lot of games. I don't know if Gerard Mayo is the answer as the coach there, but I do know that they've got a quarterback that can play in this league, and they better not fuck this up.
What's more important than that?
Nothing.
Besides maybe a coach. I mean, having a head coach is important, but
I agree.
Having a head coach is important.
If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have hope in the NFL. In today's NFL, especially. They've got a quarterback that can win in this league. Don't fuck it up.
True. 'Tis true. Well, you know, he rode with the home team, went down with the ship. I respect it. 48-42, Detroit handed an L at home.
Listen, before Andy talks about this, it's 9:51 on the East Coast on December 18th. And I'm pretty sure that Detroit just had another guy go on IR. Like, what is going on there this year, dude? It is a mess. I think right now, I hate that I feel this way because, Andy, I love that you have a team that's having success, like legitimately, because you and I know what the fucking down years look like for a franchise. We might be watching the best team that's going to be fucked by the fucking injury bug. Like, this might be the best team in football, but they just can't survive. Like 18 dudes on the defense on fucking IR.
That roster is Swiss cheese right now, dude.
Anyway, I'm done. I'm done about that, but
it's over.
It's tough.
I, for the record, just want to say that I was laughing because he started stating the time, and I thought he was going to say that Detroit still sucks. Yeah, I thought he was going to say that. That's what I was laughing.
I mean, OU does still suck, but
they do still suck.
I mean, listen, I want to be one of those people who believes that they can still have this run, but it's hard, man. It's hard.
The injuries this weekend feel like super, like Aleem McNeil and David Montgomery.
Yeah, no, it's
pivotal players.
Well, it's not just they can
not. You're right.
As much as I don't want to lose Montgomery, they can lose Montgomery. What they can't lose is McNeil.
Yeah.
And they can't lose Carlton Davis.
Yeah.
And who was already playing with a fucking cast on his arm and hand, by the way. And honestly, they can't lose Dorsey because we don't have any fucking depth back there anymore.
Yep.
And Aiden Hutchinson's his leg. Yep. I mean, listen, we're gonna get guys back. They're coming slowly but surely. But like, dude, people, I'll tell you what, Gary, you know this. Tony Romo, big fan, lost me this week. Completely lost me this week. I'm done with Tony Romo.
Welcome aboard.
I don't want to hear anybody ever who I don't like Chris Collinsworth either, but when people bitch about Chris Collinsworth and his Patrick Mahomes infatuation, let's talk about Tony and Josh Allen for a second. Holy would drop to his fucking knees, undo his belt.
In a moment.
Dude, mouth full. And Romo talked about the Bills' secondary injuries about 600 fucking times, dude, and it was making me furious. I don't care if they're out 3 guys. Who gives a fuck? Listen, the defensive line in Detroit is so decimated that they have one starter right now.
Yep.
DJ Reader.
Yep.
Now, Zadarius Smith, we can call him a starter, but he wasn't
starting the season, though.
He wasn't. Right. He wasn't there to start the season. We lost both our DNs. We lost one of our defensive tackles. The worst thing is the depth.
Yeah.
Out of those 18, like 10 of them are defensive linemen.
Yep.
Alex Anzalone, who, listen, people fuck with that guy. Go look at the stats. Yep. He's been awesome in Detroit under Dan Campbell. Yep. He's like the heart and soul of that defense. Jack Campbell's the only linebacker left that's a starter. There's guys off the fucking practice squad starting at the line. The only place we're semi-healthy is the secondary. Okay? We have our safeties, which is great. We have a great safety duo, one of the best in the league, maybe the best. And we'll probably get Afite back soon. But, like, you've got Terry and Arnold out there as a rookie. Our other rookie, Rayshaw, got hurt. Hasn't played at all. Carlton Davis, who's been great this year, just got hurt. Just decimated and at the worst time. And listen, I love you guys. I try to be nice to Bills fans because I'm surrounded by you guys. But I had multiple motherfuckers message me saying, I'm so excited at how well Josh Allen did. Somebody said to me, Big Dick Josh Allen killing you guys on third down, and you're the best third down defense in the league. And I'm like, those fucking guys are not. Those guys you see out there right now in black are not the best third down defense in the league. They're not. The best third down defense in the league is on the IR. That team out there, that is not. They're practice squad players for the most part. They're not even our depth guys. Our depth guys are fucking gone too. And listen, I didn't want to downplay the Montgomery thing because I love David Montgomery. I think, he's part of the reason. However, we can get by with Gibbs. And Craig Reynolds does a great job running the ball. We still have our receivers. We can still score. Listen, if I'm Buffalo, I don't want to sound like sour grapes here, but I've told a couple people, like, I'm not exactly happy with that win. Like, I'm happy that they won. I'm happy that they took down a big team. You almost fucking lost to a team who couldn't play defense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think if Detroit had recovered that ball with like 18 seconds, I don't think they would have scored a touchdown as well as Goff played, because now you're forcing Goff in a fucking drop back cover to throw the ball, and it probably gets picked off. However, like, to be that fucking close and to give up another 40 burger, I'm not super happy if I'm Buffalo. But yeah, Detroit, I mean, listen, I'm still going to be cheering, but they've got the Bears, who always play them tough this week. They go to San Fran. They end the season at home against Minnesota. Not only are they probably not going to win the NFC anymore, they're probably not going to win the North, which is going to push them down to like 5th. Because Minnesota's got an easy schedule.
Keep winning.
They have an easy. They have the.
Yeah, they're going to finish out easy.
Yeah, it's unreal. Like, their strength of victory is like 347, which is wild with Minnesota. But listen, this game was kind of a microcosm of exactly like what these two teams are, right? Like, Detroit couldn't stop anything. Josh Allen is fucking Superman, and the Bills are only going to go as far as Josh Allen can take them. Unfortunately for Detroit, I do think this weekend the injuries that they suffered this weekend are pretty pivotal injuries. I understand what you're saying about Gibbs and Reynolds, but I think Montgomery is a big part of the attitude for that offense. I think he sets the tone for that offense. I think that's a big hit.
I'm just saying we can lose him before we can lose McNeil.
I do understand that, but I agree with you about that I think Lee McNeil is the biggest injury from the weekend, because he's a monster on the interior. He's a guy that can stuff the run. He's a guy that gets interior pressure, especially on those third down situations.
He's the pass rush from the middle, because Reeder doesn't rush the quarterback. He just blocks the
exactly. Run. So Lee McNeil's a guy that collapses the pocket. That, to me, I agree with you. That's a bigger injury than Montgomery, but Montgomery's a huge injury for that offense. It sucks, dude. It sucks because, like, the perfect storm is what you look for in the NFL, because it's not easy to win. It's not easy to do what the Chiefs have done. It's not easy to do what the Patriots did. It's not easy to win and sustain success. So when you have these opportunities, when you have a year like this, that it felt like everything was kind of coming together for Detroit, and you deal with these injuries that absolutely derail kind of where that season's going, it's fucking miserable. It's miserable to think that you're going to end up with a season that doesn't end the way that you wanted it to, because you just couldn't keep guys healthy. It's bad luck, and you hate to feel that way in terms of, like, yeah, we could beat ourselves, but when it's the injury bug, it's a miserable feeling. I do want to talk a little bit about the Bills. I know what you were saying in terms of, like, you shouldn't feel great. That defense is struggling. I don't know what
the defense isn't struggling. That defense is
bad.
It's not gonna. I don't think it's going to lead to success in the playoffs.
I don't know what's going on with McDermott right now. They were playing a very soft shell coverage against the Lions, and you can't do that. And Goff was just picking them apart. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a monster in the slot. He's a monster underneath, and they were just letting it happen. Laporta got catches. He's been struggling this year. They were able to run the ball at will. I understand that whole kind of, like, we're going to stay back and we're going to play. I told the guys, I'm in a group chat with a bunch of Bills fans, mostly Bills fans in this chat, because they're all guys from back in New York.
They did well against the run. The Bills did well against the run. That was the one thing.
Ed Oliver had a big game.
Yes.
Ed Oliver had a big game.
Yeah, he had like 10 pressures.
But what I was telling them is this team is built to beat the 2022 Kansas City Chiefs. That's what the Bills defense was built for. And unfortunately, they're not going to play the 2022 Chiefs this year. They're going to play a Chiefs team that will run the ball, that will control the ball, that will play defense. They're not going to play them when they play, if they play the Broncos, if they play whoever else they play in the AFC. They're not playing the 2022 Chiefs. The only time they're going to play the 2022 Chiefs is if they play the 2024 Minnesota Vikings in the Super Bowl. So, unfortunately, their team is built to beat a team that they're not going to play this season. So, McDermott's going to have to make some changes in terms of his approach defensively. That's the big thing. But this team, Josh Allen is still the rising tide. I've said all year. He's going to take this team to wherever he's going to take them. He's going to have to score on every possession, though. You're right, Andy. Like, that defense isn't going to work in the playoffs. He's going to have to score on every possession. We'll see if he can continue to do that because he's been doing that the last few weeks.
Right. Well, here's the thing, though, is again, and everybody fucking hates it. And I can't have these kinds of conversations because I talk to a lot of Bills fans being where I am. They won't accept these conversations from me.
Right.
I'm just trying to talk reason. Like, yeah. And it's always hate. They're going to end this fucking season playing a schedule. I mean, they've 78 and 74 is the combined win-loss of the schedule they played. Teams they've beaten, at least. Okay. 2 of those are huge because it's 13 from the Chiefs, 12 from the Lions. Yeah. Once they finish, because they're playing a 4-win, 3-win team, 88 and 107.
Yeah.
I don't love not being challenged in the AFC because this team against, like, Philly in the Super Bowl, it scares me. If I'm the Bills, because I don't think they can score every possession. But Saquon Barkley's he's gonna have 300 fucking yards. Hurts to like I don't love it. But I did want to say one positive thing, before this matchup is over. Shout out to the fucking best quarterback in that game. I mean, Jared Goff. Best quarterback in that game that night. Awesome. You were a stud. Almost 500 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Come on.
No turnovers.
Talk your shit, player. Pop off.
Fucking outplayed an alien.
Come on. Outplayed.
It was a very good matchup. They had to throw a lot. Listen,
those are the games I
don't trust Jared Goff in, and now I have to trust him because when he has to sit back there and throw the ball a million times, 58 times, I get worried. 0 fucking turnovers.
Yeah.
He has a game where he threw 5 interceptions this year and they won. And he has a game where he threw 5 touchdowns and they lost. Cool.
Yeah.
Congrats, Bills. Football. I'll root for you when the Lions are eliminated in the first round. No, I won't.
Congrats, Bills. Philly at home against Pittsburgh. It was a Pennsylvania showdown. I'll take the victory island here. Pittsburgh is fully capable of setting this team. I still think it could have happened. It just didn't.
I picked who I wanted to win.
I went against who I wanted to win,
Yeah, this game exposed exactly what the issue is with the Steelers. They've been very, very fortunate that they've been able to throw a lot of jump balls with Russ Wilson. That didn't work because Pickens is out, and the offense couldn't get going. They turned the ball over. This isn't a team that can win this kind of game where they turn the ball over and they're playing a good team. They did a good job of containing Saquon Barkley, but the A.J. Brown force feed fest was in full effect after all the turmoil throughout the week. Brandon Graham and what he said, and Nick Sirianni, what he said, and Jalen Hurts, what he said, and A.J. Brown, what he said. They gave A.J. Brown as many targets as they fucking could have in this game. And it worked out for him because they weren't able to get a pass rush. T.J. Watt gets hurt late in the game, but for the most part, he was pretty well neutralized throughout the game. Hurts had a lot of time in the pocket to make throws. And despite holding Barkley to a pedestrian total of, I believe, 94 or 96 yards, whatever it was, Philadelphia was able to score 23. And Pittsburgh just can't win games like that. They can't. That's not the style of play they need to win games.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's a weird team. They were a weird team last year too, right? Yeah. However, the difference is like I feel like Wilson has come in and played pretty well. And I mean, listen, he's meshed with the receivers, Pickens, namely, who wasn't there this week. who was great for me because I had him in fantasy. I had him in that matchup. I snuck out, so that works. But, this is a little bit of a different team, I think, than we've had in the past because you don't have Kenny fucking Pickett. And, we'll see. But, yeah, Philly's looking fucking legit, man.
Yeah.
As much as you two.
Damn it. Yeah. And for that reason, we're going to move the fuck on. Seattle.
Got out of the building.
Taking the L at home. Well, we're an hour 6 in. We still have a whole half of the show to go. 30-13, Green Bay gets another dub. Green Bay looking stronger and stronger, and that fucking NFC North showdown is looking tough.
Best division in football, despite the Bears being fucking terrible.
Right.
I was surprised Andy took this. I have to ask. You weren't here last week for me to ask. Was this purely fuck the Packers?
No, Seattle's a weird team for me. Listen, it's always going to partially be fuck the Packers, obviously. But no, this was one I believed, kind of like the Panthers game. This wasn't the Dolphins at Texans all over. I don't know, man. I don't know where I stand on Green Bay. Again, I think that they keep hanging around. But I don't know, man. Seattle, to me, is one of those teams that's like an Arizona. They're a good, bad team.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
Green Bay's had a weird season, man. Their losses are only to the best teams in football. Twice to Detroit, I believe once to the Vikings, and once to the Eagles, I think are their 4 losses, if I'm remembering that correctly. And when you can put that feather in your cap that like you've beaten everybody else, like you feel like you're a good team, but they are kind of a weird team in terms of like sometimes they feel like they're slopping their way through a game. Other times Jordan Love looks like the next great thing. Like it's very kind of Jekyll and Hyde up and down, maybe even throughout the course of a single game too.
I don't know. They're not one of those teams that like I'm afraid of in the playoffs.
Sure. That's fair.
Unless I'm the Lions. I'm afraid of everybody at this point because I know we can't score. But, at first I thought, well, maybe Green Bay is going to run the ball exceptionally well. And they run it pretty well.
Yeah.
But even in the game, like the last game against the Lions where what the fuck is his name? Who's the running back they have now from
Jacobs?
Raiders? Josh Jacobs, yeah. He had 3 touchdowns.
They're all short, though.
I'm like, he's killing us. And then when I go look, he ran for like 3.7
yards or whatever.
It wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then sometimes their defense looks kind of like a juggernaut.
Right.
But other times it doesn't. So I don't know. And then in Jordan Love, you mentioned Jordan Love. Sometimes Jordan Love looks really good. People are like, oh, Jordan Love's fucking elite. But it's like, is he?
Other times he throws that pick 6 he threw against Detroit.
Pedestrian. Like I don't know. I don't know who this team is.
Yeah. I agree. Very, very Jekyll and Hyde.
Right. They're definitely more consistent than Seattle.
Sure.
As we've learned.
I think their good is better than Seattle, and their bad is better than Seattle's bad. But they're very Jekyll and Hyde though. But their floor is higher than Seattle's. Their ceiling's higher than Seattle's. Yeah,
that's very well said. Yeah, for sure. Chicago kind of expected the loss here, 12-30 against Minnesota. Minnesota wins at home, so victory round for the 3 of us. Any real takeaways from this one for you?
Caleb stinks. I know we've spent a lot of the season trying to figure out like, is Matt Eberflus the problem? Was Shane Waldron the problem? Thomas Brown comes in and for like a game, you're like, maybe this quick hit passing game is it. Instead, Caleb Williams decides he's going to hold the ball longer than any quarterback in the league. And 21% of the passes he's thrown have been considered uncatchable. He is off the mark 1/5 of the time the ball leaves his hand. He stinks.
I think Caleb Williams is one of those guys where people get lost with him is he can run.
He looks smart.
He's mobile, right?
Yeah.
But he's not elite.
Yeah.
And he makes stupid decisions when he's running the ball. He had that play that got him hit by Jack Campbell against Detroit.
Yeah, he stayed in bounds, took a Gumby.
People were like, that's dirty. Now, he hit him in the hip.
Right.
B, part of the reason he went awkward was his own thing. But don't.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell said, like, we're going to hit you on the sidelines,
Right?
Like, especially Kip. So he's not great at running the football. And then they're like, well, he's mobile, but he's also a good passer. Well, he's not that good at passing the football. So it's like you have this where I'm like a jack of all trades, sort of.
Master of none.
But I'm not even close to a master. Like, at least with Lamar Jackson, when they're like, he can't throw the football. Well, he's the fucking best athlete on the field.
Right.
Well, and now Chicago has cycled 2 quarterbacks that were incredible high draft pick quarterbacks that were supposed to just like, it's like they're betting the farm on a fucking 20-year-old kid to save their team. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is spoiled at the root.
And it's not all
organization.
It is. Eberflus did suck. You know,
Yep.
I've said it a million times in this show. We've talked about it. They didn't address the line.
Nope.
They went and got. Listen, they take Rome. They get Keenan Allen. You know, they already had fucking like you can have DJ Moore and just a couple other guys.
Yeah,
and you're fine. Spend that high value pick. What was it? The 6th pick, the 8th pick, something.
Yeah, something like that.
Take something fucking worthwhile. Or trade and get multiple things. Like it's not smart. It's like a little fucking kid running that franchise.
Yep. Playing
listen, I'm fine with it.
Sure, you should be.
I was happy to get Justin Fields the fuck out of town. And, you know, Caleb had some shit in preseason where I was like, ooh, you know, but overall, happy to have you, pal.
Yep. As you should be.
The NFC North, the rest of the NFC North welcomes you. And wishes you a long tenure. 15-9, and another fucking barn burner to wrap up the weekend, or to wrap up the week of football here as Atlanta wins against the Raiders and 15-9. 15-9, and it is officially Michael Penix's time. We're told yesterday. Overdue. I mean, we should have seen that in the game.
Yeah. I had a lot of loser islands this week. Listen, man, you know, this to me was more of a like, I think Atlanta's way worse than they should have been. While I agree the Raiders are bad, Raiders are home.
Yeah.
So let it rip.
Yeah.
I did predict early in the season my hot take was Penix would be in like week 5 or something after the 4 weeks because Cousins was struggling. I'm a little late for supper.
You're a little late. Yeah, Michael Penix is starting in Atlanta. Cousins is benched. Listen, I've been the Cousins stan on the show, right?
Love
but listen, he's not Kirk O'Chains from Minnesota. He's not the Kirk Cousins I knew in Washington who was successful and should have been signed and kept in Washington. He is a clearly compromised athlete. He can't move, and he's never been the most athletic guy, but he's always been just enough to be able to like move the pocket, protect himself in the pocket, get a first down on a 3rd and 4 when everything breaks down if he needs to. He's been a tough guy. He's been maybe the toughest guy in the league if you really look at the way he has played and the way he stands in the pocket and takes hits. He's not that anymore. All right. We got Pussy making some noise.
Dude. Oh, come on, bro. Yeah.
But it's time. It's been time. I think
your fucking debut, dude.
I think Raheem's been stubborn, mostly because of maybe the money they've spent, but also like a 14-year vet in Kirk Cousins. You don't bench them for no reason, but it's time. It's been time. It's a good week to do it because they're playing the New York Giants, who are in full tank mode, and they suck.
Penix is going to look great in the scrimmage this weekend, I think. I mean,
that's a good way to put it.
I mean, yeah, dude. You fucking whenever they go up to MetLife and play fucking Harvard Community College, they're gonna do great. They're gonna do fucking fantastic.
Well done.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I try. Well, listen, guys, we appreciate everybody that's tuned in this week. SJ, I don't think I've called you out yet, but if you're in this bitch, shout out. And so we're a veteran-owned podcast. We dedicate every episode to a fallen service member in our Folds of Honor sponsor segment that we like to call our Salute to Service. This episode of Backyard Blitz is going to be dedicated to Army Specialist Christopher J. Holland, who passed away December 17th, 2003, serving during Operation Iraqi Freedom. He was 26 years old from Brunswick, Georgia. He was assigned to Battery Alpha, 4th Battalion, 27th Field Artillery Regiment, 1st Armored Division based in Smith Barracks, Germany. And he was killed while part of a dismounted patrol when his unit was ambushed with small arms fire in Baghdad. Army Specialist Christopher J. Holland. We have the watch. Senior, salute. And now we get to the previews. The season record. Currently, we had a momentum shift. I've taken a small lead now over Andy. Quite a swing. Kind of big swing, 6-stroke swing.
Yeah.
Kind of a lot. Step your fucking game up, Andy. I made sure to put my picks out first. That way he could look and strategize as he sees necessary. Cincinnati at home. We're unanimous here. We expect Cincinnati to get the dub. Look, we've talked about Joey Burrow to exhaustion all season, that he's quietly been doing good things to no avail, to not have the winning record that he probably deserves in his position. He is an elevating quarterback in that he shows up and makes that locker room inherently better by just being there. I think it's safe to say they're going to take the dub here against Cleveland. Yeah,
for sure. And on top of that, we're going to get Dorian Thompson-Robinson against the Bengals defense. If there's ever a week for the Bengals defense to get right, it's probably going to be with DTR under center for Cleveland. I expect Joe Burrow to put up big numbers as usual. Kind of a ho-hum Thursday night game. I don't know that this thing might be over by halftime, honestly, with DTR. I liked him in college. I just don't know if he's an NFL quarterback. I wish nothing but success for him because he was fun to watch in college, but I just don't think he's got what it takes to be an NFL quarterback. So Jerry Jeudy owners out there, as Andy mentioned earlier, be cautious in putting him in your starting lineup for your likely semifinals of your playoffs. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, they dropped him by 3 or 4 points too when the switch was made. Because I do have him in a league. I noticed he was sitting on 13 or 14. He's down to 10 now.
Yeah.
Well, and that's obviously depends on how your league scored, but
sure. But that is a precipitous swing, right? That's a 30% swing, essentially 25% swing. So
yeah, it's huge. 3 or 4 points, big.
It's huge.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the lines real quick.
Oh, I can get that.
I assume the Bengals are 6.5.
Yeah, 7.5. There we go. That's weird. I put them in a different order, so that's not the Thursday game.
Yeah, I got them 7-5 here.
You're right. The Broncos game.
Yeah, Broncos game is Thursday. I don't know why I fucked that up. It's weird. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, whatever. I think things got flexed a little bit here and there. That might have gotten. I don't know. Who knows? Bengals 7.5. So that makes sense. 7.5 makes sense. Home.
Yeah, Bengals 7.5. Home. Taking it. Got our first division here as we look at Houston on the road in Arrowhead. Me and Gary riding with Houston. Andy the floor to KC. So how are you feeling even with the week-to-week prognosis here for?
I mean, that obviously changes things. My pick clearly rolls with Mahomes playing. If Mahomes doesn't play, then I'm just gonna admit defeat there.
Yep.
Played it last year.
I made this pick because I didn't think Mahomes was going to play. Now he's been a fucking full participant in practice.
Yeah. I was unsure, and at home. And listen, they're only giving him. I mean, Raul wants to do the line, so I won't ruin it. But I just said earlier,
Texans, I mean, it's close, minus 3.5. So Vegas isn't giving him much. Yeah.
That Texans defense, I said earlier, they fly around. I mean, maybe listen. with that ankle. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah. I mean, Will Anderson is going to have a day, I think, against this offensive line. So we could see. Houston might beat Kansas City with Mahomes, honestly, with the way that defense is playing.
Sure, they could.
Anything offensively.
Yeah, definitely.
Some
Definitely
weeks
here.
they play like the team we thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
Some weeks.
Yeah.
Well, some weeks. And then,
they played
some
the first
weeks,
half like it against the Lions.
Yeah.
Some weeks, Gary and Andy come to their senses and realize that they can't ride with Pitt, especially against a good team like Baltimore. So, riding unanimous here, Baltimore for the win at home against Pitt. That seems to me to be self-explanatory.
I just don't think Pittsburgh can score with them. TJ Watt might not play, so Lamar Jackson might have just a huge day. Dear Todd Monken, can we get Derrick Henry back in the end zone? I need him for fantasy purposes. I need a bunch from Lamar in one league and a bunch from Derrick in the other. So, maybe we just throw him the ball a bunch. Whatever. I just don't think Pittsburgh can score with Baltimore, though.
100%. Baltimore sitting at -6 in the line. I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, that feels right.
Probably
especially
a lock.
if TJ Watt doesn't play.
Yeah, call that a lock, I think. Buffalo at home against New England, and they get a nice breather after a tough game in Detroit. This should be nice. This should be – you can probably bench some starters in the second half.
Yeah, this is the second biggest line of the week. I was surprised to find out there was a bigger line than this. Buffalo's -14, so we're talking 2 touchdowns. Vegas has it. I think they cover pretty easily, honestly. I don't know that New England's going to be able to move the ball nearly as well as the Rams or the Lions have the last 2 weeks. So, you mean Buffalo winning 35-17, maybe, something like that. I think they cover the 14, though.
Yeah, I like it. Atlanta getting another opportunity. We talked about it a little bit too. Michael Penix getting the start here at home against a struggling New York Giants team. 0-14 in practice in the red zone. You can't. Fuck.
That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, and so, anyways, Detroit, even with their Swiss cheese defense, is still going to manage to get it done against fake news Caleb Williams home in Soldier Field. We're united there.
What's that?
I almost picked them. Listen,
one of those games.
They
play tough.
Yeah,
they played them tough in the first game with a healthier defense. There were still injuries going on then. I don't remember what guys were in and out. What guys may have gotten hurt in that game. But no, they play them tough. It's in Chicago. And it's not just this Bears this year with Caleb Williams. They played them tough in the past. Last year we split with the Bears. And the game Detroit won last year was crazy. I don't know who watched it. You guys would remember Detroit was down pretty heavy. And they came back. Hutchinson ended up getting a strip, kicked it out of the back of the end zone to seal the game at the end. It was a wild game. So I don't have the most confidence. Again, these division games. Chicago's going to play anybody tough. It's going to be Detroit for whatever reason. So
yep.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't think you're crazy for thinking that could go the other way. But yeah, and I did forget to say the line on Atlanta -8.5. It should be an easy win for them. Looking at Chicago. Speaking of which, Chicago at home. Where are we at here? Yeah, -6.5.
Jeez.
For Detroit.
If I'm a Chicago Bear player, I feel disrespected by that line.
You should.
At home with that defense, and trying to remember what the first game was, what the score was, but Detroit didn't kill them by any means. It was, what was it, the Thanksgiving game? Yeah, they barely.
I think it was the Thanksgiving game. Yeah,
Eberflus didn't take the fucking timeout.
Yep.
Listen, I mean,
Yeah. Clock
and they still
management.
almost completed a touchdown towards the end. So I'm saying like 6.5 in Chicago with this beat up defense. I feel some sort of way if I'm the Bears.
Definitely. Carolina at home against Arizona, and I'm going to be on the Carolina Island here. This is purely a shot in the dark here. Yep, 100%. I personally, if I'm Carolina, you were just talking about Chicago feeling disrespected. Arizona's a -5.
That's heavy.
I think that's disrespectful as fuck. I mean,
5.
I feel like the number needs to be 3.5 just because they're on the road. Maybe like even then, like you're not. I don't think you can do that. I think -5 is disrespectful.
That's heavy as fuck. 5. That's a lot. I'm gonna stick with Arizona, but I think it's by like a field goal. I don't think they're gonna beat them by a touchdown.
That's
So
that line.
If you're a betting man,
Yeah.
put the +5 in on Carolina for sure. Take the 5 points.
Yeah,
that is disrespectful. I mean, you are the Panthers.
Yeah,
it's true. They are in fact the Panthers. The Rams on the road against the Jets in New York.
I guess the Jets could get hot, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers, like I would be afraid for his life in this game with that front four that the Rams can roll out there. They're going to be in the backfield all day. I don't think the Jets are going to do what they did against the Jags. And give me Puka and Cooper torching a secondary that's really been struggling this year. Sauce is not the all-pro corner he's been the first 2 years.
This is going to be a betting line fucking nightmare this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, Raul.
This is LA -3, which I think is way disrespectful to LA. Like, give me fucking. I mean, that should be a damn near double-digit line. I think. I mean, you should be looking at -5. I think at least. I'm exaggerating, but give that -5. Don't justify.
I agree with you though. Like, if not with the double digits thing, because I think you were joking, but. If the Cardinals in Carolina
are -5,
why are the Rams in New Jersey -3?
Yeah, that does feel like a weird line. I would lay those points for
5
sure.
or 6 is where I would be.
Yeah,
there's some anomalies here where if you're a degenerate, you can make some fucking money. You want to pay a mortgage or cover some Christmas gifts. This is the one. Yeah, these are 2 back-to-back where you could potentially make some points. I feel like the one that I would definitely wage on would be the LA game, 100%.
Sure. Yeah,
that's the one that seems more clean cut to me.
Some of it's the 40 points, and then the what 12 was it 12 this last week?
Yeah.
That low score probably plays into it, but
yeah, it fucks with an algorithm that's going to lose Vegas a lot of money by some pretty smart gamblers, I think.
Watch that motherfucker be fucking
Jets win by a touchdown.
I'm just like, watch that fucking thing be like something fucking stupid.
Rams win 20-18.
Right. 20 to 18. I was just thinking in my head, watch that shit be fucking 21-19, like something weird as shit. Some weird score that shouldn't happen. Yeah, there's a safety in there somewhere.
Fucking 22-20.
I just feel like you're going to hell if you have a game that ends in that. I mean, it's such a weird combination, and that's like there's one guy that's going to get fucking loaded off of that parlay or off of whatever. So, Philly on the road in Washington. Gary riding with Philly here on this one, and I think it's a safe bet. Philly's looking up. Clearly turning out to be potentially the top team in the NFC with Detroit on the decline defensively speaking. Any potentials? I mean, what are your chances? What do you think? What does Washington need to be able to do?
Before Gary goes, I just want to tell you I don't like it. You pick your fucking boys at home. Pick them. Change them out right now. We're
not better than them right now. We're just not. We're just not. That's the reality right now. I hate to say that because it's Philly and like fuck Philly, but I will say this: the Madden simulation, they did like a Madden simulation for the rest of the year. They had Washington winning this. It was like 20-16 or something like that. the things that we struggle against, like Kamara was having a big game before he got hurt. We struggle to stop good running backs, and they've got probably the best running back in the league right now. I know that's debatable with a couple of other guys, but like Saquon's in that conversation. We struggle. He kind of beat us up late in the game in Philly. We played really, really well for a good stretch of that game, and still it was like we never really had control of that game, and it got ugly late. I don't know that we're going to be able to get Terry going. I think Cliff's done a good job lately, the last couple of weeks, of getting Terry moving where he's not getting jammed off the line, getting a little more clean releases, and he can't be covered when he gets a clean release. But I just don't like Philly does a very, very good job in their combination coverages with the safeties and all three of their cornerbacks that they play quite a bit, kind of rotating the coverages and helping on corners a lot. And they've done a very good job of kind of covering up some of the deficiencies of the two rookies that they're playing a lot with rolling coverages where they need to roll them. So I don't know what, like, I don't know the formula for how Washington's going to win this game unless we figure out how to get B-Rob going and he gets going against this team and it sustains the whole game. I don't see the formula where Jaden's going to drop back 40 times and we're going to beat this Philly team. They get really
I'm thinking
good
about the
pressure up
gas
front.
in the tank of that defense to keep the run in check. That gas tank that you've got to have to keep Saquon in check is just
Right. We've got to control the clock
impossible.
and keep the defense off the field. That's the formula. I just don't see us being able to do that. The offensive line has regressed pretty bad over the last month. And it's shown a lot in a couple of these games against these better teams. So we'll see. I'm of course, I'd love to be wrong about this one because it helps us with our playoff chances. But I just don't see the path for Washington beating Philly right now. Philly's hitting, despite all the drama, Philly's hitting on basically all cylinders right now.
I need B-Rob. I need him to have a good one.
I do too. I got him in three playoff matchups.
Yeah, that league I snuck out. I am looking at a lot of fucking red matchups.
Yeah,
like
Oof.
Lamar against the third,
yep.
Mixon against the first, B-Rob against the second.
Now.
I got Brian Thomas Jr., who I'm not sure if I'm starting against the 8th best pass defense against receivers. Tyreek Hill's against number 2.
Yep.
Like my kickers against number 2, which I feel like that's the weirdest fucking stat to crack.
Isn't it?
Just when you look at that sea of red, you're like, God damn it.
Yeah, we need a B-Rob week for sure.
But I'm playing the 8 seed. That league was weird because it had 8 playoff teams out of 12, right? And I was the 4 seed, so I was the last top seed.
You were the only home team.
The only one to advance. Yeah.
Wow.
The 8, the 7, and the 6, I believe, advanced.
The only higher seed to win, huh?
That's what happens when you let 8 teams in your fucking playoffs.
Yeah. You're kind of asking for something like
Dangerous.
that.
Yeah. 'Tis true. Indianapolis at home, Tennessee Titans. We're riding with Indy. Fuck Tennessee.
Yeah, they're a garbage can.
They're a mess.
Yeah.
I have trouble some days I have trouble like deciding who's the worst team in the league. Is it the Giants?
Is it the
Titans? Is it the fucking Browns?
Yeah.
Like
they're bad.
Is it the Raiders? There's some discussions to be had here. I don't think that there has ever been so many is it the Pats?
Yeah.
Like we had 5
next.
legitimate candidates this year, I feel like. That never happens. Usually you're like, it's that guy or that guy, or it's just that guy.
It's bad football being played.
It's the Giants.
It's got to be the Giants.
When even Gary hesitates, though, it's a little.
The Raiders are pretty fucking bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the more you look at these fucking helmets on the screen, the more you can justify one over the other at one point in time or another. Like, I think a month ago, I think everyone would have said Carolina, and now you can't say
right.
that.
The Jags. I didn't even mention the Jags.
Right, the Jags.
The Jags, they're fucking disarray. Yeah.
They might get the top pick.
This is the year for me where it's like, and you know what? We haven't even mentioned Carolina yet. Is Carolina are they better than 6 teams? Maybe. How'd that happen?
Right.
Nobody even mentioned. We just talked about it for 2 minutes and nobody mentioned Carolina.
I did.
Raul said a month ago we would have said Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Strange shit, though.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I think confidently we would have all said Carolina or maybe New England. And now,
said,
I mean,
that fucking beer.
And now I can think of 4 teams better. I can think of at least 4 or 5 teams that are not as good as the Carolina Panthers.
The Titans have been on my shit list for a while. They're just like bad, and so are like the Jags too. The Jags are the most disappointing one.
In no particular order, the teams I would put beneath the Carolina Panthers are the Patriots, the Titans, the Browns, the Raiders, and the Jags.
Not the Giants?
I did say that. Browns, Giants, Raiders, Jags, Titans. Oh, and Pats.
You didn't say the Giants first. So 6. So
6.
And I don't disagree with you. So I think they're only the 7th worst team. Weird stuff.
It gets real blurry I would have to say at the Raiders.
Well, and then you got the Saints and the Jets entering the chat.
Saints are bad. We didn't even talk about them.
Gary's a Cowboy.
Fucking fuck you, dude. Okay. All right.
Had to throw that in.
All right. Well, fucking Gary's exited the chat. All right. Denver on the road in LA. Andy on Denver Island, and this one was a tough one.
I thought I would be on
hard
an island
because I wanted to put you on that island, and then not intentionally because I didn't know. I submitted my picks first this week, but I taking the chat. I'm going with the home team here, but reluctantly. I mean, I feel like Denver could absolutely get it done.
Yeah, these teams are separated by much.
With the fucking line.
The Chargers. I think this is a game where I need Herbert because I have him in one of my fantasy matchups. This could be a week that the Chargers offense really struggles. It's going to come down to whether the Chargers defense can slow down Bo Nix and company. I think that's where this comes down to. I think this is a game. If the Chargers win, it's played in the teens. If the Broncos win, they get to 20.
Right.
That's the way I think this game.
See, this is a game where I usually pick the home team.
Yeah.
Because I think
they're tight.
It's fitting. Like I feel like these teams are close to each other. But I don't know, man. I have a little weird shine to Denver lately.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at trajectory. I think that Denver's trajectory is a little steeper in the upward direction, I think, than LA. I think so. But I do think that LA has what it takes to hold off that defense or hold off that offense at home even, but it's just
the Chargers are literally getting the home team coin flip. They're a 3-point favorite.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wash.
Exactly. So this is going to be a good one. I think this is going to be a good matchup. I think it's going to be a good opportunity to see continued evidence of whether or not Bo Nix is him, Timothy McVeigh, if you will, or if we're going to have LA kind of show up and show out at home and hopefully get it done and settle the rumors. One thing we're not debating here is that Minnesota will beat the Seattle Seahawks in the home of the 6th man, unanimous here and Backyard Sports.
Tell us the line before you go anywhere.
Oh, you're telling me because you've already seen it. Let's take a look at it. Seattle, Minnesota.
Another one.
3, dude.
DJ Khaled. We need DJ Khaled here now. Another one. It's a weird line, I feel like.
It is a weird line.
Listen,
Seattle at home, it's a tough environment, 12th man.
There's a hell of a parlay brewing up this week.
I haven't heard anybody mention the 12th man in 4 years.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's still a thing.
Sam Howell. Listen, Sam Howell might be.
It's still in there. It's still in their stadium,
and he's not looked good at all for them this year. So keep that in mind. Sam Howell might be starting, so you might want to parlay fucking Carolina with the points, the Rams laying the points, and the Vikings laying
the points. Yeah,
for sure.
Good opportunity here.
I'm gonna while we're going because I don't really have much to say about this game. I want to look at that.
Yeah.
We can We can easily move on to the next dumpster fire we're going to see, and it's in Las Vegas as Jacksonville Jaguars play the Vegas Raiders at home. I'm on the Vegas Raider Island. This was another coin toss, and it's purely giving home field advantage.
I actually like your pick a lot more after the news came out today that Aiden O'Connell is likely to be healthy and start for the Raiders. So
yeah,
I have
great
a feeling this might be
opportunity
a
there.
Yeah,
I think we can also see that line change because this is kind of an odd line. Las Vegas -1.5, even though they're at home.
Yeah,
kind of an odd
yeah.
one. But we could probably see that fluctuate with O'Connell back in the game.
Yeah,
I don't remember picking Jacksonville. I mean, I believe that I did. I just don't remember it, and I don't know why.
Listen, man, I'm
seeing
completely capable of.
I'm looking at my own. I just thought I
did
a long time ago.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
okay, cool. All right, good. Well, yeah, no, don't be afraid to fact check me if I may have entered it incorrectly.
No. I don't know why. I thought I gave up on them a long time ago. Fuck them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now they have to win.
Yeah, weird line -1.5. I do, and then again over under 40.5 there. I don't even think it's going to get that high. I would expect this to be a combined total of 35. It's kind of round.
You can definitely play the under in this one.
Yeah, for sure. San Francisco on the road in Miami. Man, Miami -1 underdog or -1 favorite at home. This feels like a fair line, I think, because I do think that San Francisco is still the better team. Are they going to be able to kind of keep it together in Miami? I think so. Andy, Gary seem to think Miami will get this one.
I think San Francisco easily could win this game. I picked Miami because there's a whole lot of issues going on in that locker room in San Francisco. The Devondre Campbell stuff, the Deebo Samuel stuff. I worry that the wheels could fall off, but I also understand that like the talent that's on that roster, they could play spoiler here down the stretch. In Miami, give me Miami by a fucking field goal. But I don't feel super confident in that one just because I know the talent that's on that San Francisco team for sure.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, we were taking the points on Carolina, laying the Rams, laying the Vikings.
Yep.
So it's a little different here. I'm on DraftKings. Carolina's 4.5.
Okay.
Plus.
That's still late.
The Rams are 3.5, -3.5, and the Vikings are the same. They were -3.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, that's a +602.
There we go.
And if you happen to find
what does that
boost
mean?
in there somewhere,
that's your you're gonna get 6-1 on a parlay.
6-1, yeah. So you bet $50, you win $350.
Yep.
Profit $300. Nice. Yeah, not too bad. Again, and there's always the profit boost and shit in those things. So I know Texas doesn't let you guys be cool yet, but
I'm not really much of a gambler. Like even whenever I was in Vegas, I didn't understand how to do it, so I didn't.
Yeah, but when you do,
I'm glad I don't. I'd stick to my weekly pick'ems every now and then. But right now, this season right here on the screen is my sole focus, and it's paying dividends, baby. We out here.
You've got it. What do you
dividends
got,
is the fucking 4-point line favorite that. Oh, looks like I'm getting a rough connection. I do have a lot of screens up right now. There we go. My bad.
Yeah, this feels like another one like Tampa laying 4. I'd feel comfortable laying those points. Diggs is out. Bland is out. Like that defense is pretty ravaged, and Baker just put up a lot of points against a very good defense last week against the Chargers. I don't know that the Cowboys are going to be able to score and keep up with them. Give me the Bucs by a touchdown, even if it becomes a boat race, 35-28, 34-27, something like that. Give me the Bucs by a touchdown, though.
I like the Bucs.
Yeah, over under 48.5. I mean, this is clearly expected to be a boat race, and it could be very well.
Yeah,
but Bucs are a resilient team, and they've clashed. They beat some. They were the only team to beat Detroit before the Bills.
Yep.
They narrowly let the Chiefs run away with a win.
Yep.
They for an 8-5 team, they're they're a force. I think. I feel like they can do some stuff. They're going to get into the playoffs. Probably they'll probably win that division.
I think they already locked it up, didn't they?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta's only like a game or so behind, right?
Yeah, I think they're 8-6. Atlanta's 7-7.
Yeah, 8-6. Atlanta is 7-7. Yeah, still very open.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Unless you're the
for the true. For our last game of the week, I didn't fuck the order up on this one. New Orleans goes to Green Bay. Green Bay minus 14.5 for the largest line of the week, over under 42.5. And I expect 35 of those at least to be from Green Bay. It's gonna be tough sledding. And we'll also get to see, in my opinion, what I like to see is I want to watch Washington performed against them, lackluster, did their thing. I want to see how a comparable team, who I think Green Bay is a little bit lesser, I think, than Washington, but still comparable in the defense sector. I think I want to see how they do against the Saints and see what they look like potentially in the postseason.
I said it earlier. I don't know what Green Bay's best thing is, right? Sometimes it's the defense. Sometimes it's the run game.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's Jordan Love.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, if you would have asked people who's Green Bay's best receiver, going into the season, Christian Watson would have been the answer.
Yeah.
Now, what's he, the third best receiver?
Right.
Yeah.
If I asked you flat out, without looking at stats, I mean, Romeo Doubs is their best receiver, right?
Yeah. Jaden Reed's their best playmaker.
Watson's
probably third, definitely. Yeah, I would agree.
At least, I mean, at very best, he's second.
Sure.
He was supposed to be the guy, never became it. I mean, they're a weird team at receiver, but
yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
This game though, 14.5 is probably not enough. I know it's a huge spread. Bills are 14-point favorites, so close for the biggest spread of the week. But it's going to be cold. It's likely to snow Monday night. It's a night game in Green Bay. That ground's going to be frozen. And they're going to be starting Spencer Rattler. They might not have Kamara. Like, there's a lot of things stacked up against the Saints in this game. I think Green Bay rolls. This should be a ho-hum win for them. They should really be able to go through the motions in this one.
Listen, if you got $5 to throw away, go parlay yourself the Pats and the Saints.
Money line.
$5 on it. I mean, I don't know what the payout is, but
it'd probably be a lot. I mean,
probably pretty decent. I mean,
touchdowns, you're probably getting fucking.
I mean, you're not gonna win, but
480, 500 maybe plus 500 money line.
Let's see. Let me do my thing here.
Yeah, let's see what we got.
So fuck, if you want to throw the Browns in there too.
Big dogs.
You could really be cooking. I think that's
625 you get for each of them. So that's a good ass. That's good parlay juice.
Yeah, toss them together. Shake that fucker around a little bit. Actually, that's the other one. Throw the Cowboys in there.
All right.
Throw in the Cowboys.
When you get into that, like 40-1.
Throw in the Cowboys, the Pats, and then the Saints
and the Browns.
Oh yeah, I forgot the Browns. I quit on the Browns because I saw a better one and then I didn't pick it. Oh, the Panthers.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
1270.
So you're getting
throw $5 on it. You win 68. You're not gonna, but it's not gonna happen. But damn, wouldn't you be smart and pissed that you didn't put 100?
Yeah, right.
And thus begins the disclaimer and help and support lines down at the bottom of the screen for your gambling addictions.
I'm not paying your mortgage if you do wager it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those divisional games can get weird. I just think Buffalo's too talented. I don't think New England can play with them.
They're not going to lose that game.
That you certainly like divisional games can get weird, but I just
not that one.
There's no way.
Yeah.
No, there's no way.
I don't even think the Bills know that anybody else is in their division this year. How piss poor that division is.
I mean, they fucking clinched in November. So
Well, that division. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
everybody had, we don't even need to talk about the Bills like being down year, right? Because that was the narrative. But it was like the Jets. Jets should be good. Miami's going to be good.
Yeah.
Worst fucking division ever.
Yep.
It really is. Absolutely is.
Yeah, it's a tough go.
Just dog shit.
Well, boys, that wraps it up. We've completed it all. Any closing thoughts? Make a quick round table.
Live, laugh, love. That's all.
Words to live by.
I don't know how to do the thing.
Love, laugh, live.
Thing. No, that's not knowing how to do it good.
Yeah.
It's like that.
You
Bring
know.
it finger hurt.
Washington's in a playoff chase for fucking the first time in a legitimate playoff race. I don't count the 2 losing seasons that Ron won the fucking division in because it was absolutely atrocious. We're in a legitimate playoff race for the first time in a very long time. I'm excited. A lot of moving season here over the last few weeks. Like we've got 4 divisions that are still really close and kind of up in the air, and we've got matchups with those teams either this weekend or next weekend. So big moving season in the NFL for sure.
Yeah, and the Lions, this is my real send-off because Live, Laugh, Love is for blonde chicks named Amber.
Damn.
Shots? I don't know. No, the Lions maybe being the best roster in football, having that 11-game streak and then having all these injuries and this happened late in the season is the most Detroit Lions thing of all time. The most. Like it is the epitome of what the Lions are. And you know what? It is what it is, man.
Listen, I just hope that whenever you move on to the next life, that you can just have a few of the players be a pallbearer so they can let you down one last time. You know,
it's that Browns quote, baby. I love it.
Hey. But anyways, I don't have any other closing thoughts other than fuck Jerry Jones. And that's, I mean, from the back all the way. I mean, not an ounce of lubricant.
Jesus.
But
no,
can't do it. But we will be sure to see you guys next week. Be sure to tune in when we break down week 16. We got a couple weeks left of the season, boys. We got a few weeks. We are almost done, and then we get into the postseason. I'm excited. Things are starting to shake up these last couple weeks, so it is high time to start locking in if you are a team that's in the hunt, and there are plenty. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Got Gary Freeze, got Andy Flint Mode with us, and my name is Raul Herrera. We appreciate you guys tuning in to Backyard Blitz, brought to you by Backyard Sports. We'll see you next week.